Welcome to 12 Under 20, a series of videos that I am making for budget collectors. If you want to have some really cool collections with pages themed of sleeping Pokemon, city Pokemon, fire Pokemon, whatever it might be, this is the series where I'm going to be trying to find 12 cards under $20. I want to give a shout out to channels like Kyra and Philip Collectibles, who also have videos where they recommend certain cards under a certain price. They kind of were the inspiration for these videos, so shout out to them. Today's theme is going to be sleeping Pokemon. So the first recommendation is this Rockruff. There's actually two different versions. There is the English version with the yellow border, still sitting around $2. The Japanese version actually has a silver border, and that again also sits at the $2 mark. I remember stumbling across this card, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that I had added it into my collection. There's the Rockruff. I chose the Japanese version because I do like the silver border on this one a little bit more. But if you like the OG yellow border, that's all up to you. The next card is the Sleeping Koraidon. Now this came from, I believe it was a promo in the Scarlet ETB. And funny enough, you can actually get the other one, which is the Miraidon. They both came from ETBs. They were both promo cards. The Koraidon sits at around $3, a little under that, and Miraidon actually sits at $4. So Miraidon's a little bit more expensive. I believe the Japanese versions are a little bit more as well, so we won't be talking about those ones. The next one we have here is Zorua in Japanese. Now you can get this in English and it's still within our budget, but the Japanese one is sitting at $4 right now, whereas the English one sits at almost $11. So if you want to nearly double the price of the card, go for it. If you prefer to have your sets in English or your collections in English, I don't really mind when I'm collecting for just the art. So for this one, I would probably pick up the Japanese one. Here's another card that I have in my personal collection. It is the Litten, Japanese specifically. It is sitting at around $5. You can get the English one. The English one sits at around 14 or 15. But again, same art, just different language. So you cut it by literally a third of the price, which is so good. And this is one of my favorite Litten arts. The sleeping one on the bookshelf, and then there's one peeking behind the bookshelf. And the more you look at this card, there's just so many little like Easter eggs. There's the, I can't remember if the Skitty tail is like what item that is in the game, but there's a Leppa berry down in one of the shelves. There's like the Litten plushie. There's actually a shiny Litten on the art cover. There's so many things the more that you look at it. There's Wishy Washy. There's a Meowth. There's Incineroar doll. There's so many things. Like the more you look at it, the more you find, and it's just another reason why this card is just so good. The art is amazing. I love this card so much. Another fan favorite that everybody loves, Eevee. This one is sitting at $6, so not crazy. I know there's, I think, a Pokemon Center stamped one that is kind of insane, but this one's still sitting at around $6. And again, this is another card that has some little Easter eggs, little guest appearances with the Pikachu doll, the Voltorb. So there is a lot of stuff that is included in this card. It's really cute. So another good sleeping Pokemon pickup. Another promo, yeah. It's funny how many of these cards are promos, but thankfully, I think that is one of the reasons why the card prices on this are relatively lower. So thank you to everybody that is ripping your ETBs and selling these promos. Snorlax here sitting at around $7, right under $7. Another really good one if you want to add into your sleeping page, but you could also add it to like a forest page. Another really good art. Next, we have Mesprit. Now, I wasn't too sure if this would be considered sleeping. Their eyes are closed, but they might be more just chilling there. But I figure I'd add it. It's a very pretty card. The sunset looks amazing. And actually, that's probably what I'm going to be doing with this Mesprit whenever I get my hands on it, is adding it to a sunset page. I actually just recently picked up this Latios at a card show. So this one is like another, sunset page card that I'm thinking about starting. So the Mesprit would look really nice there. The English one is sitting at around $8, so pretty budget friendly. And for this gorgeous art, like, I think it's a very fair price. Now, for not just a sleeping Pokemon, but if you want a sleeping trainer, here is the Pikachu sleeping with Dawn. I don't remember what her name is in Pokemon Arceus, but I know it's like the Hisuian dog pretty much. But this is a really, really cute art, and I'm surprised that this card hasn't gone up. It's from Lost Origins. Really, really nice art. And the Japanese one actually costs a little bit more. The Japanese sits at $17, whereas the English one sits at around $12.50, so right under $13. But if again you really like the silver border instead of the yellow border, the price is still within our budget. So if that is one that you're interested in getting a silver border, Japanese one is just like $5 more or so. Another card that has the different borders in Japanese is the Sleeping Mew from Crown Zenith. Now, this one is actually cheaper in Japanese, sitting under $16, whereas the English one is actually sitting under $17. It's a buck more, so really depending on what you want on your card, whether you prefer the yellow border or silver border, choice is yours, and it's right around the same price. Yeah, this is another really cool art that there's just so many things to look at. There's so many different Pokemon that are in here, so it's a really cool card to have if you're collecting any of these Pokemon. The second to last card that we're going to be talking about is this Charizard. Now, the Charizard isn't quite sleeping, really, but the Venusaur in back, at least to me, looks like he is. So I'm considering this as part of our sleeping theme. All right, so at the time of recording this, the card was sitting at around $18 for the English, but it did go up to a little bit over 20. So it's still at our budget, but not as like budget friendly as some of the other cards have been. And this is probably going to be a card that just continues to go up because it is a Charizard card, and that's just the way that the Pokemon hobby goes. Is some cards will stay lower for a bit, and eventually they will climb. So this is going to be one of those cards that I think is probably going to end up going up. And unfortunately, I don't have one yet still. I would probably end up picking this card sooner rather than later if I ever expand the size of my binder. But yeah, really cool card. The Japanese one I believe still sits at around $20-ish too. But yeah, that's just the way the Pokemon hobby goes. And hopefully I pick enough cards that in the future somebody watching this far down along the hobby, there are still some budget friendly cards, but who knows. Yeah, I'll let you guys watch the rest of the video now. Now, for the very last card is probably one of my favorite sleeping cards, and that is the Raichu. Yeah, not the English Raichu because that is sitting at $45, but the Japanese one sits at a much, 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 much lower price, sitting at around, I believe, $8. Let me check my math. Nope, I'm wrong. It was $9. I was $1 off. But I think I bought mine at like 8. Really, really amazing sleeping card in my opinion. And if you get it in Japanese, very, very budget friendly, sitting at under $10. Whereas the English one is insane, sitting up at 45. If you really want it, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. I've bought crazy cards like this Noivern for my city page, sat at like $40 when I bought it. If you want to spend beyond the budget of $20, the choice is yours. But really, if you want to have like a filled out binder, it's going to help you a lot to just figure out budget friendly options. And whether that means picking up a foreign language card to get within that budget, you know, you can do that too. And that's what I've been doing with a lot of my thematic pages that I've been building out. Again, I could show you some stuff that I've been building in the process, kind of a sneak peek of some cards that I'll talk about in the future probably. I like recommending cards that I personally have. I didn't recommend the Zorua V because I mean it does have multiple sleeping Pokemon. It's got the Pachirisu and the Emolga. I believe are both sleeping, but I felt like there were some other ones when I was doing the research on sleeping Pokemon that there was a lot of other cards that I definitely preferred to recommend over that card. Camping page or night page that I've been working on. I guess it's a spread really. So yeah, there's so many different ways that you can do collections. This is going to be my house page. So we'll be going through all the different things. So if there's a theme that you guys really like the concept of and you don't want to do the research yourself, leave a comment down below. Like the video if you found some cards that you want to add to your thematic pages, or maybe you're going to make a sleeping page too. I don't know. But yeah, I'm plan on making a bunch of these. So if you have any theme that you might want me to work on, again, you don't want to do the research yourself, I am more than happy to do it. There's so many cards that I've stumbled across doing this that I probably would have never really found on my own. So yeah, it's a lot of fun doing this, and yeah, Pokemon collecting is just insane, and there's just so many cards that are insanely priced that if I can help you guys find some budget options for some cool collections, I'd love to do that and find some cool cards myself. So yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed the video. All right, see ya.